All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Let's get this special session started today, Monday, April 29th. Madam Clerk, could you please read the roll?
Mr. Bozen?
Here.
Mr. Nichols?
Here.
Ms. Creighton-Smith?
Here.
Mr. Childs?
Here.
Mr. Simon?
Here.
Ms. Wilder?
Here.
And Mr. Foyce?
Here. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
The motion has been approved with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We have an agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the addition of 1A1, bills payments for Monday, April 22nd, 2024, in the amount of $3,621,496.44.
Second.
Second.
All right. That motion was made with a couple different seconds. Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Creighton-Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Mr. Simon?
Yes.
Ms. Wilder?
Yes.
Mr. Foyce?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Could someone take item number 1 of their public hearing?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing, and that's for the amendment to the City of Waterloo zoning ordinance number 5079 to update terms and regulations as they apply to the floodplain regulations.
Second.
Second.
That motion has been made with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. The hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience that may have questions about this item? All right. Do we just want a quick staff update? Is Jamie or somebody around to give just a quick update on this, or no?
Eric Schrader, City Planner. I can give an update on this.
Yep.
The City of Waterloo is proposing this amendment to the zoning ordinance to adopt new floodplain maps and to update the regulations in the zoning ordinance that pertain to the floodplain regulations to make them compliant with minimum requirements from both FEMA and the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. So the floodplain maps themselves, there is a portion of the city that they did not update the maps for, so the existing maps will remain effective. But for most of the city, there will be new maps that become effective May 8th. For the most part, those maps didn't drastically change the floodplains. Most of the areas stay the same or really close to what the previous maps were. There were a few areas of a little bit more change. And the regulations themselves, it's mostly updating terminology and tweaks that make it minimum requirements to meet DNR model ordinance compliant. Happy to answer any specific questions.
Mr. Mayor?
And Eric, this had to be done
Yep.
ASAP, didn't it?
Yeah, the new maps are set to become effective May 8th to remain a participating member in good standing with the National Flood Insurance Program. We had to have them adopted before May 8th. We were originally planning on that on May 6th, but then they threw another curveball where they wanted the publication before May 8th. Otherwise, we would have been temporarily suspended from the National Flood Insurance Program. So the special meeting, hopefully we can get the rules suspended and stay compliant and get them all adopted.
All right, Mr. Bozen.
I just had a question for Eric, and where are the maps where there are changes and it affects a property owner? Are we notifying those property owners of the said change?
This is Schrader with staff. We don't have any direct notice to individual property owners. That would be, we don't have anything that really delineates on a property by property basis which ones those are without, essentially going through every area of the city and looking at the map for those changes. Like I said, most of the areas are pretty minor. The biggest probably exception to that is the Southland Park area. This amendment has been in the works for several years now. And I can't say for sure that all of the residents of Southland Park are aware it's coming, but most of them are. They aren't happy with it, but when FEMA initially proposed these maps several years ago, we tried to, review with FEMA to see if we could appeal that, and there wasn't enough engineering data to justify an appeal, so it's moving forward.
And my concern would be if now that the map has changed, especially in that area, if they're required to have flood insurance, or will their insurance cover them if they don't have it?
Yeah, so if they're a property that is not in the floodplain now, and they're getting put in the floodplain on the new map, if they have a mortgage, they would likely be required to start paying flood insurance. As a structure that existed before the floodplain was put in place, they would be considered a preferred rate. So the rate that they would have to pay is not as drastic like if you built new in the floodplain.
But how would they know that?
Their insurance provider would issue them notice once the maps become effective.
All right, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right, I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing and receive and file oral comments and recommendations of approval of the Planning, Programming, and Zoning Commission.
Second.
The motion has been made with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The hearing is now closed.
Mr. Mayor,
Sir?
I'd like to make a motion to receive and file and consider and pass for the first time an ordinance amendment to the City of Waterloo zoning ordinance number 5079 to update terms and regulations as they apply to the floodplain regulations.
Second.
Second.
The motion has been made with a second. Madam Clerk, roll call vote if there's no other question.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Creighton Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Mr. Simon?
Yes.
Ms. Wilder?
Yes.
Mr. Foyce?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
All right, thank you. Sir?
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Second.
That motion has been made with a second. Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Creighton Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Mr. Simon?
Yes.
Ms. Wilder?
Yes.
Mr. Foyce?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to receive, file, consider, and pass for the second and third times and adopt the ordinance.
Second.
That motion has been made with the second. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Creighton Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Mr. Simon?
Yes.
Ms. Wilder?
Yes.
Mr. Foyce?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Council. That needed to be done, so appreciate it. This was the reconsideration that was brought back to the council.
Are
Will
we-
someone take this?
Mayor, are we done? Did we receive, file, and consider and pass?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I don't. Okay, cool. Then Mr. Mayor, I'll make the resolution. I'll move to adopt the resolution approving supplemental agreement number 1 with the Interest Solutions Group, Magellan of Denver, Colorado, in conjunction with fiscal year 2023 construction of a fiber to the premise feeder/distribution and backbone network project contract number 1088, and authorizing the mayor to execute said document.
Second.
Second.
A motion was made with the second. Council, you probably have some questions on this.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
thank you. I have a, when it was brought up for reconsideration, and Eric was here from the general manager from telecommunications, there's a discrepancy in our paperwork and what he presented to council at that bond meeting. So I assume we're already paying the $23,400 a month for one inspector, originally in the contract, because it's a 4-to-1 ratio. Our paperwork says we're currently at a 7-to-1 ratio, why we're required to add this on and get another inspector for a total of 46,800 a month. But Eric said that we have 12 crews out there. So if we're doing 12 crews, do we have enough of these project coordinator inspectors? Or are we gonna need a third one at $70,200 a month?
I think Randy or Jamie, it's one of you. It's a good question.
Yeah, Randy Bennett, Public Works Division Manager. So just for instance, today, just to kind of give you where we're at. So we got 17 drills, a fiber crew, 2 splicing crew. There would be a plow crew in town right now, but with the rain this weekend, they weren't able to do that. So currently what we have is the 3 inspection crews. You know, but when you actually look at the number, there is more. So there is the potential that we potentially could use another inspector. And the thing with that is right now we are making pretty good headway. So with that being said, it does take more. You know, when you look at the cost, it's not just so much just for the individual inspector itself, it's what else that they have to do, especially on the backside. Everything has to get entered into the GIS. They've got their coordinator position and stuff that's on the backside. And they're not just overseeing just one aspect. We've got the backbone portion, which is the cities. We got the fiber to the premise, which is the utilities. And then we also have the EDA portion, which is federally funded grant portion that, you know, we got to have staff that's overseeing all those. So things are getting ramped up and we are doing more. But with that, you know, there's potential that, yes, we could be coming back for an additional inspector as we keep moving forward.
So how many inspectors do we have here?
I believe right now there's 3.
But the paperwork that
Or
we're
2,
doing is
I think there's
authorizing
2 with
for
this
the
would be
second
3,
one.
yeah. I'm sorry, say
the way,
that one
the
more
way
time.
this reads, I thought we were authorizing for the second inspector because it's 4 to 1.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Here, let me make sure I get this right. We are tracking 3 different projects. As far as the inspectors, it would be for the second one. I'm sorry, I misquoted on the,
So we have 2 inspectors.
for 2 inspectors,
But
yeah.
yet we're already in violation of the 4 to 1.
With yes, because we are getting more crews going. And the thing with it is, I guess, we have to look at it on this standpoint. We can slow down, or we can keep moving forward.
Well,
But if we
understand.
keep moving forward, we are gonna probably end up needing more inspectors to be able to do that.
But
and-
why would this, if it's in the contract, that every time we add inspectors, why would this have to keep coming back before the council? It's contractually that we have to have it.
Well, it's to give you guys.
No, I'm just
to keep-
asking,
To keep
you
you
know.
informed as far as what's going on. I think we're trying to be transparent.
Well, I
think-
appreciate that.
I think it's good to be transparent that we're doing that.
Well, this transparency gave me sticker shock.
Yeah, but I mean, they're doing a lot of work in the process of doing that though. And like I said, I see the standpoint when you just look at it for one inspector in the field, but there's more than just the inspector in the field. There's a lot more work that, you know, to get it on our side, because eventually, you know, when this gets turned over to the fiber utility or the backbone that comes to us, you know, this gets into the GIS where both engineering and public works and our other departments that are using this, we want to make sure that this is accurate so we can have good
Understand.
as-built when this is turned over. Otherwise, yeah, I mean,
But technically, we need a third inspector.
yes.
With the amount of people that you've
The
got
way
going
it's
right now.
going, yes, it's gonna be ramping up.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So are we ahead of schedule?
So I would say when we first started, you know, first off, I guess I'll take a step back. When we first started, you know, we got a little behind. I'll be honest with you, we've never built a public utility before. So when you take from last fall in comparison to where we're at right now, we have more crews going than what we originally anticipated. So we're making up some where I would say where we were behind. But now, as we're getting better at it, you know, like I said, we have more crews than what we originally thought we would have going at this part in time. So with that being said, you know, when you talk about, and I'll kind of give you some update too, because it's to help you guys out, but task order 1, which would be 1 through 8, we have every intentions on having that done by the end of the year. So that'll put us ahead, potentially even getting into 2, which, like I said, that by the end of, you know, weather permitting, there's a lot of things that go into this, but, you know, as we're ramping up and things are going pretty good, assuming it keeps going on to that, there is a potential that we will be working ahead. So as far as how many feet that we're getting put into the ground, we are ahead of what our original plan is, but are we necessarily ahead of where we would be when we first started this? No. But I do think by the end of the construction season, yes, we will.
And so my next question is,
And
the number of inspectors, do we have a cap? Is there, or is this something that could go up?
It potentially could. I don't know if it will. I think we're kind of, to be honest with you, it's a lot. I mean, the locating that has to take place.
Yeah, I'm not questioning that they're needed. I'm just wondering if it was in the plans, and are we just winging it at this point?
I think some of those numbers could change, especially like right now, we're getting the conduit in the ground. We're starting to pull the fiber. We're getting ready. We're doing a lot more. The fiber drops are going to be coming. So there's going to be more crews. And I think what's going to end up happening, some of that will get split because of, as we start getting the drops and stuff to the home. Plus, when we get the backbone, we'll have all the drops that'll be going to all of our infrastructure, which would be, internally, plus what we're doing with the ADA. So I think some of it where we're getting the conduit in, some of it will get ramped up into those other areas.
So in your opinion, you think the added inspectors is a good thing?
Absolutely.
To speed this along so we can
Absolutely. I'm
generate
100%
the
in favor
backside of it?
this. Yep, I'm in favor of this.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
like I said, when it's all said and done, this is going to get turned over, I don't want to speak for Jamie, but we need good documentation that we know where the infrastructure is and all that is. We want to make sure it's being inspected and then we're getting that. And, as we're getting a little ahead here, where some of that, I have to give Entrust, they're trying to do the best that they can, but that's a lot of data that we're asking them to partake.
Thank you.
And who would have thought that we would have had a mild winter the way we did this year? I mean, crews were able to work longer into the season than we originally thought they would have as well. But that's part of the reason why the consultant is there, because conditions on the ground may change. There may become additional crews, but the quicker that we can work with the telecom to get this built, the quicker on that back end we can work for some revenue structures, the quicker we can get that project done. Because I would assume 3 years from now, this is a 3-year project, that the cost of doing all this stuff will be more expensive than it is right now. And so it's a great opportunity for us to push this project along. And hopefully July-ish, we'll be able to connect our first customer. So appreciate council for your patience, and thank you for the good question. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, this is a roll call vote.
Mr. Bozen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Creighton-Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Mr. Simon?
Yes.
Ms. Wilder?
Yes.
Mr. Foyce?
Yes. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
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 Motion been made with second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.